Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to the C++ course. This is tutorial number 2, where we're learning about the comments and variable, two essential topics in C++. Understanding this will help you write a clear and more efficient program. If you are new here, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon so don't miss a future line. So let's get started. Let's first talk about the comments. Comments are used to describe what happening in code, what happening in your code, and they're completely ignored by the compiler, meaning that they have no impact on your program executions. Why we use the comment? It explains your code for better readability, and it temporarily disable your piece of code for testing and make debugging easier. There are two major types of comments that are single line comment and multi line comment. Single line comment is a comment that start with a double slash, are used for short notes, are used for single line commenting. Example of the single line comment is that start with a double slash in C++, and then it will comment out the line. And the other type is multi-line comment that start with the slash static and end with the static slash. They can span a multiple line. It can comment on the multiple line using comments. This is an example of multi-line comment. You can see that it is commenting multiple lines here that start with the slash static and end with the static slash. It is commenting out multiple lines. Using the comments wisely make your code more understandable, especially when working on large projects or collaborating with the others. Let's talk about the variables. A variable is a container that store data like a numbers, which your program can use and manipulate. Major key points of variables are there. Every variable has a name and type and values. Every variable has name and type and values. And C++ is statically typed, meaning we must declare the data type of variable. The value of variable can be changed after declared. The variable is declared in the C++. We have to declare a variable to hold a variable, so we can use in the our program. There are major, most common types of variables are int, float, double, char, bool, and string. There are many variables, but most commonly we use int, float, double, char, and bool and string. Int store the integer, store the whole number like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And float store the decimal numbers that have a 4 byte size. It means it can store around 6 to 5 digit after 6 to 7 digit after the pointer. And double is also type of float, but it can store the large number of decimal. It can store about 13 to 14 digit after the point. And char is used to store the single character like a alphabetic character like A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And bool is depend upon the condition. It tells the condition is true or false, and if the condition is false, it give the response that the condition is false. If condition is true, it gives the response condition is true. And stake is used to store the whole line of whole line of alphabetic in the form of string. If we use string to store the whole line, basically string cannot be used as uh, pre library. We have to initialize the library, then we are able to use the string. Variables allow us to store and work with the data dynamically in a program. For example, if we have a game, a variable can store the player's score and update it whenever necessary. Best practices for variable using a meaningful variable name instead of x and y and user a. Use user age. Instead of using a simple alphabetic, a single alphabetic, we can use the like name, age, and that will be the best practice of using the variables. Flow naming rules must start with the. It has some rules that we have to depend that the variables are depend upon. Following mean rules, meaning naming rules. Sorry, following naming rule names must be start from like this is the name I. Names must be start with the a letter or underscore No spaces between the variable. If there is space in the variable, it does not declare as a variable. And avoid the special character in the variables. Choose the correct data type. We have to choose the correct data type for a variable. If you want to store the floating number, like the number that has a point in it, we use the float. We have to use the correct data type. This is the data types: int, float, and double and char. If we want to store the 3.5 in decimal point, we will use the float. We cannot use the integer for it. It is the wrong way to store hold the data. We have to use the float. If we are using a double number, we have to store in the double format. This is known as data types. Uh, there is there is two types of variable scope. There are two types: local variables and global variables. Local variables are variables that can be accessed only in the function in the class. It will be I will be give you a full overview when we are reached to the OOP video, and you will know what is local variable and global variable. Local variable are variable that only accessed in the class in the function or which it has declared. It cannot be accessed outside the class or outside the function. Global variable is a variable that can be accessed from the anywhere in the whole code. Like in local variable, if you have declared the variable that has in a function in x y is equal to 1, it can be work in the single function. It cannot be declared outside the function. It cannot be used outside the function. If we declare the global variable outside the function, we can use it inside the function also and outside the function also. There are major difference between local variable and global variables. This is a basic code of a global variable, a variable scope. Like if we have declared if this is the global variable and that is equal to 100, it can be accessed inside the function. You can see there it is already accessed by here. We can easily access inside the function and outside the function also. But there is a major difference is in local variable. Local variables that is initialized in the word display function. This is a function we will learn after that. In just make in your mind that this is a function, passive function that is int local variable. It is only used in the function. We cannot use it outside the function. As you can see there, we cannot display the local variable outside the function, but we can display global variable in everywhere in the code. And now, first of all, I will give you full overview of code. Let's move toward the code so you can understand it more easily, and let's move to the code. This is my sample code. You will see there. I will tell you how to comment on the single line. For example, if I want to display the message, this is the integer data type. This is integer. Sorry, this is integer data type. It will print out. If I execute this command, it will show me error because this is not, we didn't commented it yet. It caused an error in our code. You will see that it's saying that there is error. If I use the double slash, it is a single line comment. It only comment a single line at a time. Then after that, if I execute, how we can execute, there is on the menu bar, there is execute button. Just click on the compile and run. It will able to execute your code. If I execute it, there is a problem here. It's saying that n is not declared. Simply I will remove it and then I will execute it again. And decompile and run. You will see that it has been executed. It has no effect in the code. So I want to comment up the multiple line like this. This is the integer. Let me copy and just paste like this. If you want to comment on this multiple lines, simply what we should do, we use the slash static and use the static slash and use static slash. It will comment out the multiple line. Now after this, if I execute it again, But it's saying that oh, sorry, I have already comment out this. You can see that this piece of code has also commented so that it is not having an effect in the code. If I cut and paste after the committee, it will have effect in the code like this. If I paste here, then after this I execute it, it will have effect in the code. You will see that one is displaying. Let's talk about the variables. This is the code, commenting code. Now talk about the variable. Let's talk about the variable. What are the variables? Let me write the all the types of data types in this code, and then I will be able to explain you. Okay. First of all, I explained that the float is displaying by using a B character. The cout is used to print out the result on the screen that B is printing out, and U is printing out an endpoint 8, and A is printing out 1. A is printing out 1 because even if we write a true condition, because computer understands zeros and 1 condition. In computer, 1 mean trues and 0 mean false. That's why printing out the 1 because it say that it is a true. If I write the false here, it will print a 0. Like this is false. If I execute it again by compiling and run, you will see that it will print out 0. You can see there is 0. This is because the condition is false. It depends upon this 1 and 0 condition. If it display 1, it means the condition is true. If it displays 0, it means condition is false. And string, just remember in your mind, whenever you declare the string, whenever you want to print out the string letter, you first of all you need to include this library, that is hashtag include string, that from there we can access this string. After this we use a string word. We have to declare by using a string word, then we have to name the variable. I gave it a name cn, and make sure don't use a single quotation, use a double quotation. If we write a single quotation, it will cause an error. For example, if I write here single quotation, it will cause a me error and will not execute it. You can see it's saying it is out of scope. So simply I have to use the double quotation here. That's it. And then we able to access the code character. And in char we use a single character. We cannot use a double quotation. It is opposite to the string. And int, simply we are printing the number. If I make it -1, it will be also print the -1. Let's Let's explain that what is difference between the float and double, because many students have a problem with it. They cannot find out the difference between float and double because they are both can store the decimal point. The main difference is that float can store the short numbers, like after the point it will can store 4 to 5, 6 to 7 number. It cannot store more than the uh, 6 to 7 number. But in double we can store the 13, 15 numbers. Like if I replace the values and add more than 8. If I add the 8 numbers after the point, 8 6 7 8 6 7 8 6 7 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11, it will only print out the, you can see there it will only print out 1 2 3 4 5 5 5 numbers after the point. This is because it is a float. It only store the short numbers. It only store the it has range of 5. It can store a 5 number after the point. It cannot store more than the 5 number. But in double we can store the 14 to 15 numbers. Like if I increase the size of it is also, it will able to print out this. Like execute it, compile and run, you will see there it is it is 1 2 3 1 2 3. It round off this whole equation. That's why if it did, it will round off and it will display that message. If I use the like uh, first of all I have to clear this out, and if I use a random number like 4 5 6 7 8, let me count there is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16. Let execute. You will see there. It will round off and provide the answer. That's why we use the double, because it can store the large amount of numbers. That's it for this video. Uh, this this is all about the variables. If you don't know about the cout functionality and what is this library, you can check out my first video. You will understand what is this. I hope this code walkthrough gave you a better understanding of how to write and use it in the real program. If you enjoyed this video tutorial, give it thumbs up and comment below with your question. Don't forget to subscribe so don't miss the next channel. See you again in the next video. Okay, Allah Hafiz.